Back again. Just left the gas station. Get on. We're going to do just filled up. If you can see that, I'll zoom in here in a minute, but we're going to do a little video on riding 2-up. Typically, for those that don't know, riding 2-up is with the passenger. But first thing, gas pump. $16 for 3.3 gallons. Nuts. Thanks, Joe. All right. Reset trip gauge. All right. Okay. So yeah, I figured today, I did one earlier this morning on riding in the rain. I figured I'd do one now because it's something I do a lot. And it's dried up a bit, so it's supposed to get downpour the rest of the day, so nobody rode their bikes today but me, which I'm used to. I'll plug in here real quick. What the hell's going on there? Yeah, nobody rode today. It was just me. But I've been riding in the rain for so long that I'm okay with it. But something I do a lot. I'm going to do one when I do my guard dog work. Some call it blocking. I do a lot of that, but I also do a lot of riding 2-up. I bring the wife with me. A lot of the rides. And some people get nervous, wanting to have a passenger on the bike. Rightfully so. I mean, there's a little bit more to worry about because usually the passenger, if you take a look at accidents, we'll just go this way right off the bat. Accidents, typically your passenger gets hurt worse than the rider. Rider can hold on a little bit longer, and passenger really has nothing to hold on to except the operator. So, couple things to worry about when it comes to riding 2-up. Typically, most of you know when you get a bike, you want to make sure you can hold that bike up. Whether you're at a stop, you get your feet down, nice bend in your knee, so you can handle the bike at a stop. When it's just you, it's typically easy. You get a passenger on the back, things change a bit because now you have a little more weight. Typically a 2-up seat is higher. Their seating position is higher than yours, so their helmet is a little bit higher than yours, so they're not bouncing your helmet all the time with theirs. So you've just changed the weight distribution on the bike a bit, and you've also changed your height, your center of gravity, I guess it would be, because you've got an extra in certain situations. I mean, my wife, she's 5 pounds. Her on the back isn't much. The more weight you put back there, obviously the different it's going to be. You're starting to pull a little bit of weight off that front tire. So your turning can be affected a bit. But with holding the bike up, you want to be able to hold it up on your own, obviously just riding solo. But with a passenger, you really want to make sure that this is a bike you can firmly hold up. Your feet are flat on the ground. You got nice bend in your knees. You can let go of the bike. I like my bike. I got the Honda Interstate. I like it because I can literally stand up on my bike on the ground, and I've got a handful of inches between, lack of better terms, your crotch area and the seat. I got a handful of inches, and I can still hold the bike up with just my legs. So you want to make sure it's a bike you're going to be able to handle, for one. Don't, if you can barely hold up your big gigantic full dress bagger by yourself, putting the passenger on something you might not want to do. Because you're going to have to hold it up. You're going to come to a stop. And if you're on any form of turn, incline, anything, that extra weight out back, it's a lot different. It's going to be harder to hold up. So, the seating position on this bike is so low. I have tons of bend to my knee, and I'm not a tall guy. I'm 5'10", so I've got plenty of room, plenty of bend to my knee, so I can hold this bike up all day long, easy. When it comes to riding with the passenger, I think it's, now again, I wouldn't advise doing it on a bike you're not completely comfortable with. You need to have had that bike in almost every situation you can think of by yourself before you think of putting someone on the back, because it's dangerous. Now this bike doesn't have, typically I have a 2-up seat that has a backrest on it for her, which is nice because then she can lean back. A little bit more comfort for her, just in she can rest against the backrest, but a little more peace of mind that she's not just going to slide right off the back. But that's typically, I won't say it won't happen, because you see a lot of sport bikes, these guys, I've seen it on cruisers, guys take off too quick, the lady slides right off the back. So that seat's a little different though, because seating position on that seat, it seriously lifts me up about 2 inches taller. So it changes the bend, ride, my position on the bike, sits me a bit forward, but it has a backrest for her, so she likes it. And on long trips, the seat's more comfortable anyway, so I'll switch out. But little runs through town, typically it's just this, it's not a solo seat, but there's no backrest for her. She's comfortable. She'll hold on to anything. I've done guard work with her on the back. I know it's a no-no. A lot of people don't like it, but it's about your confidence level, and the passenger, the person on the back, if they're not comfy doing it, don't do it, The big part of having a passenger, in all honesty, I stress this a lot with the group, is what your passenger on the back is doing. We've been on rides and we've had ladies on the backs of other bikes, and I'm a co-founder of the organization. I would have been road captain, but I didn't know all the roads out here. I'd only been here for about 2 years, so I wasn't able to help plan the routes efficiently because I didn't know all the little hidden roads. So I handed that position to someone else. I do oversee all of the guard dogs. That's just a term we came up with for the blockers, guard dogs. I oversee all of them. I do all the training. I ride out front. I ride to the right of our founder. Road captain always is up front. But there have been times, I think it's good for anyone in, and I'll just use group because clubs and all that, you start getting into that issue, and that's, some people are like, we're a club, we do it different, and I get it. So just for this, I think every now and again, it's good to have some of your members, especially like if you have blockers or road captains, president, every now and again, vice president, whoever, have them take every now and again, maybe not on a big sanctioned ride, but on like a little fun run or something like that. Have them, and I do it. Take a hot seat out back. Play tail gunner for a day. Take a look at your group. See how they're riding. See, what you don't see, what you don't like, what you do like, what needs to be tightened up. Who can't keep up? Who keeps slowing the pack down, leaving holes big enough for cars to get in, You're throwing off your pattern, because we typically run in a staggered formation. We run staggered formation until we hit stoplights, then we roll into parade formation. Go through the intersection. Once we make it through the intersection in parade formation, we go right back to staggered. So you have a little bit of buffer between each bike. But you get certain bikes that riders just can't keep up. They create this 5 or 6 second gap, and I think it's helpful just having someone, one of your leaders, in the back every now and again to keep an eye. Because being up front, you don't see what's going on behind you. You really don't. So you don't know if someone's slacking off. They're not paying attention. They can't keep up. I think it's beneficial. I've done it before. And what I've seen back there a couple times, when it comes to, topic at hand, riding 2 up. Most of the time it's ladies, so I'm just going to use it. A lot of times you see these ladies in the back, they're on the back of the bike, and they're dancing around. They think it's a fucking dance floor. I mean, they got the radio on, they're shaking and they're moving. I mean, they're just all over the place. That throws off the operator, for lack of a better term, the guy riding the motorcycle, the one controlling it, operating it. That throws him off. That throws off his balance, everything. I've even seen a couple instances where once we stopped, I had to gather everybody up, the guys and the ladies, and look, I played gunner for a bit, and what I saw was a bunch of ladies back there on the back of these bikes with the music on, dancing around. They're throwing their hands out, they're waving around, they're pointing. Well, to the rest of the group, and this goes into hand signals as far as just riding. Hand signals should only be thrown by the operator, the person running the motorcycle, the operator. But you would note, I'd noticed a couple times some of these ladies would be on the back of the bike dancing around, and they'd be pointing and throwing their hands out. Well, you've just told the group to either, depending on what hand they've thrown out or pointed or whatever, you could have just told the group to make a left. You got your feet going, you could have told them there's debris on the road. So if the guy on the bike behind is used to watching hand signals, and you've left it open to where the operator or the passenger is allowed to throw hand signals, you've just told half that group 18 different things to do in a matter of a football field. So, I've said it before, and I had to tell them, look, either keep your hands and feet inside the ride, because you're throwing the group off. You got people behind you, don't know if, with the slight up and down movement of your hand to the side, which would indicate slow down. Well, if I got 4 bikes in front of me and a bunch of, ladies up on back bouncing around and shit, and I see one of them doing that, to me, it looks like they just told, me and whoever's behind them to slow down. So now you're looking for debris. You're not focused on the ride. So keep your hands, legs inside the vehicle till it comes to a complete stop. Thank you. 2, cornering with a passenger. I told my wife when she first started riding with me, because she didn't know what to do, when to lean, how to lean, what to do. And for me, it's worked out. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is not a scientific thing here, so some of you are probably going to disagree with this completely. But for me, it worked best, and the people that I've helped, train, I always tell the passenger, keep your arms at your sides, but keep your hands almost on my sides. Like some of your cuts, your vests have Velcro on the side for adjustment. I'm like, just keep your hands there. Keep your hands on the outside. Put your thumbs on the inside. Just loop your hand and your thumb over the Velcro, real light. But just maintain a good, as a passenger, keep your elbows in, hands to the side. And as I move side to side, if you keep your arms close, you're in the same position I am. So you're not leaning too far. You're not, sitting straight up and down as I try and turn. Because, lean is very important. Too much lean can screw you up. Not enough lean, you could never finish that corner. So, and it's worked for me. I mean, I know there's other people that go, oh, nope. You want that passenger to sit straight up and down the whole time. Don't move around. And yeah, there have been situations. Oh yeah, she'll sit straight up. You won't even see her lean. But it's just a good rule, and it's been for me and other people I've talked to. Like, oh yeah, I just tell her, look, keep your hands on my sides, keep your elbows close to your body, grab a hold of the side of my cut, just lean with me. Nothing to overthink. You know, little stuff like this. She's not leaning because I'm really not leaning. I mean, I'm just kind of leaning the bike. I haven't shifted my weight on the seat at all. So there's difference in lean. Be mindful now with someone on the back. You always want to pay extra attention with that extra weight out back. You now have a little better grip just because you have extra weight on that back tire. Now, depending on what else you have behind it, like a trunk, if you've got too much weight back there, now you've got a lot more weight kind of behind the tire, behind the bike, which could loosen up your front. That's why you see I've heard a lot of people say it too, that you have that, what Hollywood call the death wobble. Some say it's because of spokes, your bearings up in your forks, your seals, whatever. Too much weight in one bag, left versus right. But I've heard some people say it's also from too much weight behind the bike as far as in your bag, because that trunk sits higher. It's off the back of the bike. So you've just changed that center of gravity. But having a passenger on the back, yeah, you've added a little bit more grip to that tire. Which is going to, it'll affect your takeoff. I mean, you might get a little better takeoff with someone on the back. I mean, it's extra weight, so it's kind of a, half a dozen to one, six to the other. But you will, though, have to increase your stopping distance because now you have more weight you're trying to stop when you come to a stop. So there's, my mind, pros and cons to having a passenger. The weight's definitely a difference. It's a factor in taking off. It's a factor in slowing down. It's a factor going into corners. But I don't mind it. Some people don't like it. Some people won't want to. And if you're not comfortable riding with a passenger, just don't. We didn't go over it, but most bikes are going to have rear pegs for passengers. If they don't, obviously don't put them on your bike. I mean, it shouldn't even have to say that, but I'd like to actually get a set of floorboards for her so she has more positions to put her feet in, because those pegs are just, I can't ride on pegs. They drive me nuts. Too limited on foot position, especially for long rides. Let's see here. Yeah, with the pegs, I ride with mine down all the time. It's kind of just a weird, like a superstition thing, like with the gremlin bells and all that. I keep my pegs down because it gives me a spot for my angel to put her feet when I'm riding solo. So, because she might get tired of flying and want to go for a ride too. So I leave my pegs down for my angel. Some laugh, whatever. It's fun, but it's me. It's neat. I do what I want on my bike. They say you're not supposed to ride with your pegs down unless you're on a funeral ride. But I just keep mine down. I typically don't have any other passengers. I've had other people on the bike doing rides. We'll get hit up by people that need a bag, need a bike. So I have handed them out. My passenger, though, one thing I require from any passenger, if they're going to be on the bike, a couple things you are going to have. You're at least going to have shoes. Boots would be preferable. I'm not putting you on the back of my bike if you're wearing your little slippers or your little flip-flops or your cute little fucking open-toed shoes. Not going to happen. You will have a helmet, gloves, glasses, I know sometimes putting them in jackets, they might not have one, they might just need a real quick ride somewhere. Usually, I don't do it all the time, but there's a good chunk of the time I'll keep like an extra jacket in my bike. Usually it's like a flannel. I've got some flannels that are padded. They actually have all the protective equipment inside them. So, I'll throw a passenger on. All right, here, just throw this on real quick, you know. I usually have extra glasses. I usually have 2 or 3 pair. An extra pair of sunglasses in case I lose mine. I have a pair of roses, just rose-colored lenses for nighttime riding. But then I also have a pair of yellows. I like the yellows at night because they just cut glare. But yeah, I'm not putting a passenger on my bike without X amount of gear. Just has to be. Because, I mean, as the operator, I'm taking complete responsibility for that person's safety. Now, it's an inherent risk getting on a motorcycle as it is. But when you put someone on the back of your bike, especially someone you don't know if they even know how to ride back there. What are they going to do? They're going to flip around, they're going to be doing their makeup, they got their cell phone out, they're taking pictures, they're not holding on. There's a lot to worry about. One other thing real quick before I forget about it, I was talking about gear, but with the passenger, the wife, she knows if we're riding normal, everything's fine, like right here, coming up on the green light. If for some odd reason this thing's yellow, or it goes yellow, and I'm just going to run it, I will reach down and I'll tap her leg twice. And to me, that's just, 2 taps, hold on, and she knows it. I'll just tap her twice, tick, tick, and she'll grab a hold, and we can go for it. Because the last thing you want to do is just drop a gear in this thing and punch it when they have no clue. Because a good chunk of the time, they're doing almost what you wish you could be doing, just sitting there looking around, which is another thing too, the head movement. Limit your head movement, because when you move your head, sometimes your shoulders move, your hips move, you've just thrown off balance. There's a lot to it. But yeah, she knows if I'm going to pass somebody, switching lanes, there's a semi and I want to get past it, I'll reach down, I'll tap her on the leg twice. She knows to hold on. I do it with railroad crossings. Some of the tracks are raised a bit, so they're bumpy. Just lets her know. Just trying to think of what I might not have covered. Yeah, you take a lot of risk. Well, you assume a lot of responsibility when you risk putting someone on the back of your bike. Like I said before, your passenger usually is the one that gets hurt the most. Because if I see I'm getting into a wreck, I'm holding on to this thing to the last possible minute, and then I'm going to let go. The passenger has no idea what's really going on. They're not holding on to anything but you. If this thing gets sideways, they could fall right off. So there's a lot to watch out for. Yeah, it's basically just know your bike. Know your, like I said it a million times. Ride your own bike. Know your bike. Know your limits. Don't ride outside of your limits. I really don't care if you're with a bunch of people and they're going on a ride, conditions you don't like. Don't go. Either fall behind, tell them I'll get there when I get there, whatever. Chances are the place we're going is still going to be there when I get there, so I'll see you when I get there. If you're not comfortable taking a passenger, don't do it. It's just safer that way. If you haven't done it and you're not comfy, yeah, she might be super cute, smoking hot, whatever. You might think, oh, I got to give her a ride. She wants one. Fuck it, I'll give her a ride. Don't. It's not worth the risk. So, know your skill set, know your skill level, your bike. Protective equipment, always key. And just having that understanding with your rider. I've even done it too, and I put people on the bike. I don't know how they ride. I put them on the bike, and I've had a talk with them before we get on there. Like, look, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to sit down, you're going to hold on, you're going to relax, and you're just going to enjoy the ride. I don't need you back there dancing around, swinging your hands, doing your fucking hair. You know, it's just, a lot of it's common sense, but you'd be surprised how many people have lost common sense lately. But this one sucks right here, especially with the passenger. That driveway is so deep, I'll bottom out my fender. So I'm going to cut it. It's just plastic. I'll just cut it. But alright, well, I am here. So
battery level is low.
I am going to... Oh, perfect timing. Battery's low. On my headset, not the bike. Whew, fogged up. Whew, got foggy. Alright. I'm going to wrap this one up. So, yeah, that does that for riding 2-up. Don't let them get on the bike until you're completely comfortable. I usually do a kickstand down. Once she's comfortable, she'll tap me on the back twice on my side. Let me know, and I don't let her get off until, let's see. Come on, neutral, second, first, second. Kickstand's down, bike's relaxed. And I'll just give her a tap, and she knows to get off. So, it's all about safety. Laying down some rules. Knowing your bike and your passenger. So, but for now, I am signing off. You kids have fun. Play nice. Later.